My simple math or deduction on the Miami situation was, okay, they went 7-5 the year before. They were good enough to beat teams like Pitt, who won the ACC, and NC State. They had one of the better young quarterbacks in college football coming back. They have more like top 15 talent on the roster. In steps Mario Cristobal. I understand the goal is long term, and I'm tearing down this program and rebuilding, but still, I just didn't see how that should transition to a 5-win team that is nowhere close to the 7-win team it was the year before. That's not giving me a lot of faith in Mario Cristobal at this point.
So I feel the same way. I mean, first of all, Miami's been in a bad way for a while now. This is not some sort of new situation, right? So the fact that Mario Cristobal came in there and everyone had high expectations is not so much of an indictment on Miami as it was on the Coastal Division of the ACC. I mean, because I thought that Miami was talented enough, and with Tyler Van Dyke and with Mario Cristobal coming in there, that they would make more of a splash in the Coastal Division, not necessarily in the ACC, just in the division that they were playing in his first season. But at the end of the day, when after you watch it all unfold, and I've been a victim of this all too many times, believe me, is believing that Miami is going to be good this year, or even not even good, just decent. And I fell victim to that again. But I can fully understand the frustration of Miami fans and people like Slim Shady Canes, because Mario's what he's doing. And first of all, it starts with recruiting. So we're already seeing the fact that Mario Cristobal, and we knew this, from his time at Oregon, is that he's an elite recruiter. But changing a culture of a program who's been bad for 20 years is a whole different idea than just recruiting a couple of 5-stars in your first season, right? And that's what he's doing there. He's weeding out 20 years, or the better part of 20 years of bad culture. And that's going to take some time, right? You're not doing that in 12 months. You're not even doing that in 24 months. So I don't, maybe for the first time ever, and I feel like I say this every offseason, maybe for the first time in the past decade or so, I'm actually not on the Miami train. I don't think Miami's going to be that great next year. I think they'll be good, but not anywhere close to competing for a conference championship, or definitely not a playoff spot. But I do think they're heading in the right direction. And like Slim said, changing head coaches, coordinators on an annual basis or a semi-annual basis on average for extended amount of time is a recipe for disaster. So you look, and they're stuck with Mario Cristobal too, whether they like it or not. So, I mean, unless they have a Texas A&M money, they're not getting out of that deal. So there is that.
Well, I mean, it wouldn't surprise me if they had the money, but Miami's notoriously cheap, so I highly doubt even if they had it, they would spend it. But I think both of you kind of hit the nail on the head in a way. As far as Mario, number one, Mario having to recruit different guys than say Manny Diaz did on defense, because you can just look at one position group. You can look at linebackers, for instance. Manny Diaz was recruiting linebackers that are run stoppers and are going to get downhill and get after the quarterback. But that's not what they're wanting linebackers to do in the defense that they're running now. They're wanting linebackers that can drop back into coverage if they're asked to do so. And the guys that they have just do not fit that bill. So it's going to take 2 to 3 recruiting classes to get that roster turned over to the guys that are going to run the system that you're trying to run. Because you can have a 5-star guy, but if he's just for instance, if you have a 5-star linebacker that Manny would go after, well, he's not going to fit in Mario's system, so why even bother recruiting him?